All right, we are live and we are back. Once again, it's Sunday night, 7:30 ish. Means it's time for another edition live in the Man Cave. This is Polk, your number one source for high school basketball in the state of Florida. Got the All State coach with us right now. What's going on with you, sir?
What's up, Coach? Happy Sunday to you.
Hey, happy Sunday, man. We are blessed and highly favored, and we won't complain. We will not complain. Uh, All State PG may or may not tap in. He had a family emergency that he's dealing with. So thoughts and prayers with him and the fam. But the show will go on in his absence. We will try to make do and make him proud. And if you're listening, PG, we got you. Got the fam as always. Um, and we're praying for you, boss. Praying for everybody. So, Coach, we got a holiday weekend. I know that this is you really is sacrificing right now because I know
You
you
know what
guys.
it
I
is,
know you
man.
guys coming out to smoke right now. So I know
Yeah,
you're probably
man.
gonna be split screen and trying to tap in. So we appreciate it. But anyway, it's been a week, holiday week. Everybody off tomorrow, so that's a good thing. It's a great thing. So you got anything in the coach's corner? If you do, you got it. If you don't, we'll pivot and go in another direction.
Coach, I got a question for you. What coaches have had the most influence on you personally and on your coaching career, and why?
Uh, what coaches had the most influence on me as a player? Um, it would be Coach Arding Wilson, way back with the Lakeland Lumberjacks. Probably the first time I played organized football, I played with the Lumberjacks like in seventh grade. Once I graduated from the project leagues, the project leagues, when whatever project you playing with, that's who you playing with. So Coach R.D. Wilson, Coach Clark, both my first two coaches. Coach Jones at Kathleen basketball, and I would say Coach Joe at Kathleen. Coach Joe was the first black coach that I from a high school perspective, and just how he it was more than just football. It was just more than just coaching for him. He was trying to help you to be better people, be better men, and I really I really took a lot of that with how I deal with players and kids now. And as far as for me coaching, Coach Meyer, my first coach, Coach Meyer, gave me a shot at Jenkins. Um, Working with Coach Collins for years. Um, Coach, when I was coaching, I I took a lot from a lot of people, and sometimes coaching, and I always tried to apply coaching off the field as well in the life. And even when I started coaching, I was coaching CJ, his little league teams and stuff. Even some of the coaches I coached with, Coach Cat, RIP to Jack, Coach Paul Clark, um, LT from Plant City. I mean, Ray Davis, who's the guy who run the Polk County Youth Sports Network. I had a lot, Coach. A village helped me, but the biggest thing I always sometimes learning what to do and seeing what people did well, but also you can learn a lot by what people didn't do well. Um, so I think kind of a myriad of all those guys, kind of a hodgepodge, a gumbo pot, I guess. Um, you learn discipline, you learn X's and O's, you learn how to deal with people, you learn how to handle budgets. You know how many people that don't not successful because of the X's and O's, because stuff off the court. We say this all the time, coach. The coaching is what 5% of it. The admin is what kill people. They don't, and that's not the fine. That's not the headline. The headline is you the head coach, but everything besides that is what goes into being successful. So I like to think I just took a lot from a lot of people, um, and I'm thankful for all of them that whether they knew it or not, but just a lot of people, coach. Like even now with you, I'm not coaching no more per se, but I still like watch basketball. And once you are a coach, it's hard to watch basketball and not be a coach. So like I watch high school games and I watch, college games and I just see like came when we came I came and watch your girl. Yeah, I came watch you and Johnny when y'all was, in Georgia, just watching how the girls just how hard they play. And I think people take that for granted. They crucifying this kid from Alabama right now. I'm sure you done seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw it on Twitter about his effort. They want him to take the number 18 scholarship and everything else. They wouldn't have did that with Nick Saban, but because of his lack of effort. And I don't think people. I mean, y'all got skills over there, you and Johnny. You know, but they still got to play, right? They still got to go play hard. They still got to give effort. And I still look at how y'all just pull effort out of them girls. And they girls, and no disrespect to girls, but it's just different, right? So I don't know if I answered your question, but it's a
Yeah,
lot.
for
It's a
sure.
it's a community. It's a village that raised me as a person and as a coach, and I'm thankful for all of them. So
I think what you said is a formula for success for coaching, though. You know what I'm saying? Taking good things, a great thing from successful coaches, but also learning from coaches some of the bad things that they did. You know what I'm saying? I learned what not to do from certain coaches. Um, when I first got the head job at Lake Wells, I learned some things what not to do and try to avoid those pitfalls too. So I think that's a formula of success of taking, the good things that you saw from different people, but also, looking at the bad things so you can avoid those pitfalls and form your own formula for success. And I think all coaches should look at that and form their own formula for success. It's not going to all be the same. I try to tell people all the time, my blueprint may not be your blueprint, but it's a foundation that you may can like change, some of the plans in order to achieve the same goals. But you know what I'm saying, you can use some of the things that I use in order to get to where you need to get to. You know what I'm saying? And that be my advice all the time. And I'm hoping coaches now like really have like some sort of a mentor or somebody they can go to in order to get constructive criticism, coach. Even now, people don't. Well, people might know, but I have to hear certain things from you and Toomer. You know what I'm saying? Y'all give me another set of eyes in order to, evaluate my team and try to improve. McGriff, um, he gives me constructive criticism all the time and vice versa. I'm never I'm always a learner of the game. I'm always a student, and I have people that I go through all the time in order for me to be the best version of myself for my team. And I think what you said is valuable, and I hope somebody was listening tonight and maybe be able to use that.
but this is the thing though, coach. Why is it like I was at the Bartow shootout, we at the table, me and McGriff and Tucker and the Source Hoops guy and the Wilkie guy. So um, it was either Source Hoops guy or Donnie Wilkie, one of them was like, well, why do y'all got on blazer jerseys? Like, what is that? And so McGriff was like, well, you can't wear your school stuff. So you got to wear kind of something that's not representing school. So they wrote the Blazer stuff. That's their travel ball team name. So the guy was like, okay, I get that, but where does the Blazers come from? So he gave him the quick story. He's like, well, me and this guy, we started the Lakeland Fire like 30 years ago. And so when I first came to Bartow, my team was named the Bartow Fire because we still the Fire. Say, well, the Lakeland folks didn't like that, so I had to change the name. But I still want it to be connected to the Fire. So that's where the Blazers came from. But he was like, yeah, me and this guy been like this for 30 years. It's like, and even when Polk Hoops was starting, and it was kind of growing, and I would kind of moan to y'all about, because for a while I used to take some of that stuff personal, because one thing you ain't gonna do is say we not doing this stuff, like we attacking kids and that kind of stuff. So anytime somebody will post something, you ain't got to agree with what we saying. That's it. That's just human nature. But to question our integrity, and like we on here talking about kids and we talking negative now, I take that stuff personal. So I
Mm.
was sending to him every now and then. He'd be like, "Well, coach, that is what you say you wanted. You say you wanted to, bring a spotlight to the county, the basketball. That's kind of what come with it." And he could have been like, pat you on your butt and tell you did good, but no, sometimes you just gotta hear it, even when say you don't want to hear it. And so for me, I've never had trouble taking advice and taking stuff, sports, personal, academic, professional. But everybody that not that way, like you said, why is it so hard for people to receive? And maybe criticism is not the right word, because criticism, some people take that as a negative, but constructive criticism, I mean, it's only a negative if you receive it negatively. And that's been my experience. It's only if I'm coming in already tense and on guard, it really don't matter what you say, because I'm in defense mode. But if I'm coming in open arms, like, okay, coach, tell me what you see. Like y'all know all the time, I seen y'all say, hey man, what y'all think about this? Y'all be like, I don't like
Mm-hmm.
this. Especially with the talk, I don't like this. I'll be like, well, I'm standing on this and this what I say. Okay, that's the only way I think that you grow. You got to be able to receive it. But there's not a lot of people that receive. Maybe it's the word criticism. Maybe it's the packaging. But what's your take on it? Because I know you deal with it a whole lot more than I do. But Why is it so difficult? Especially if it's meant to help. Maybe people don't think it's meant to help them. I guess I don't know.
Um, Gordon Givens told me, some people just don't want to seem like they're not the smartest person, or that somebody else knows more than them in front of their kids. And I never thought about that until he said that. Um, Also at the same time, I think we get so used to routines and what we done in the past. Like I see some coaches, man. I think some coaches are still stuck in the '90s, coach. You know what I'm saying? Still stuck on what was done when they played and what worked then, um, and just never no evolution and or no adjustments. Um, and just some just they just refuse to change, coach. Um, but also they think I think pride get in the way. Pride get in the way. If you talk to Johnny, Johnny has no pride. He is an open book for help, and he's willing to at least listen to someone if it's going to benefit him and his team. Um, I think it took a lot for him to allow me to come in and do the things that I do. You know what I'm saying? Like most people are not going to allow me to have the type of influence that I've had on that program, on this program. But me and Johnny, we work well together, and we've been doing it for a long time. We know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, and we kind of, feed off each other. But I don't. It's not one thing. Coach is different for different people. Um, but what I need for everybody to do is just some type of self-reflection. Um, really look at your strengths and weaknesses and be willing to seek out help. And that's my thing. They don't ask for help. Um, and I don't know if they're too proud to ask for help. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of coaches that's not coaching anymore, coach, that I think could be great mentors and be valuable to certain programs. You know what I'm saying? You still I applaud Coach Fitzgerald to ask Darren to come and help him. I think that's a huge win for victory. You know what I'm saying? But you still have other people that's out there, Coach Grant, Aubrey Whitaker. Um, you have other coaches that are around that can really help programs, I think.
I remember talking about Coach Collins. I remember when I first left coaching, I went um, from Jenkins and I took the AP job at Alcatraz Middle. And, they told me then, it's changed, obviously, right? But they told me they couldn't really tell me, but it was very much frowned upon to coach and be an administrator.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to stop coaching at Jenkins. It's like I was kind of voluntold that I couldn't do it. So I wasn't coaching. And I remember I saw Coach Collins at church, him and Carla, and he was like, "Hey, what you doing?" I'm like, he said, "Man, why don't you come coach, come work with me, come coach with me?" And I'm thinking he playing. So I'm like, "Okay, coach." And I laughed it off. Probably saw him in church about a month later. He said, "Hey, you had a chance to think about it?" So I'm like, "Okay." He said, "Coach, I don't know, man." He said, "I tell you what." He said, "Just stop by. Just stop by. Don't ain't whatever. Just stop by and see what you think. And if you think it, you like it, okay. If you don't, okay, whatever." So I was like, okay. Probably a couple days. I stopped by, and coach, I'm in there watching him coach, and he working on that press the press that he used to run way back in Haines City, the rotation. And as he out there, coach, he's the only one talking. It's like four of the coaches that's like around the thing, but he's the only one on the floor. And I'm seeing like people making, not rotating or not, So I jump out there before I know it. And I promise, coach, I saw
Got
coach,
him.
I saw him smirk. Yeah, I saw him smirk, right? And I was like, my bad, coach. He said, no, no, no. So I, stayed. And the next day, I came back, and 12 years later, I was still coming back. But I mean, but it wasn't no thing where he always, like you said, he never referred to me as assistant coach. It was always we co-head coaches. I sub, coach, just one game, coach. He like you, he old school. He don't believe in zone defense.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a playoff game, coach. And I'm like, coach, we gotta, because we didn't match up well. And I think what happened was Richie got in foul trouble, and we're like, we gotta have Richie on the floor, coach. So we can't have him over here. We ain't deep enough, and let's just go zone. And man, Coach might looked at me for like 2 minutes. The game was going on, coach. So we don't know. He don't know what's happening. He looked at me for like 2 minutes on the bench, like, and he did not want to. He called. He said, "Well, coach, you want to set it up because I don't know nothing about it." So he called timeout. I, drew it up, and we ended up winning the game. But you got to have some type of confidence, I think,
Mm-hmm.
in yourself that it doesn't um what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't intimidate you, or intimidate is not the right word I'm looking for, but it doesn't challenge
Yeah.
who you are, to be able to say, you know what, somebody else may have a different perspective. It doesn't minimize my knowledge or my
No.
perspective, my influence. It's just a different way to look at it. And I don't know if we all do that. Um, and I agree with that, Coach Michelle, that we want the kids to grow. We talk about development with the kids, and getting the workouts and the conditioning, and we want to see player development. But that's a great point. Coaches, we got to be, as coaches, as adults, because the kids are under our tutelage, right? They're watching us. So you want me to grow. You want me to work on, jump stop. You want me to finish layups. You want me to work on my rotation and my effort. But I don't see you working to improve. So that becomes a little unfair, right? But like Ms.
Mhm.
Shaw said, people don't want the unsolicited advice.
Yeah, and that's
So
another thing I don't do, Coach. I don't go out my way to say certain things. If people ask me, I'll let them know. But when you give that unsolicited advice, Coach, you get a real bad side eye, Coach. They look at you real, you know.
yeah, I mean, and I think, Coach, sometimes the reason why that happens because they know it. They just want you. They don't want it to be brought to their attention.
Mhm.
And maybe I'm wrong on that, but I know it. But I don't need you to tell me what I know.
Yeah,
So it's that, but it be something that can help.
yeah. And it's only certain people I give unsolicited advice to, and that's because we've built a relationship over time where I can do that. And that happened. Was that last weekend we had the Bartow shootout?
Last weekend.
Yeah. I said something to Murph. And I gave him what I thought on the in the game. He was down at the end of the game, and I was like, "Hey, coach, I would have done this." He thought about it for a second. He's like, "You know what? You're right. Blah 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 blah." But I've known Murph for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? I know we can have that particular talk, but I have found out you can't do that with everybody.
You,
So I tend to not say anything unless I'm asked. Coach Fitzgerald, he asked me for some advice a couple weeks ago, and I just waited till I observed his team, and I sent him a text message a couple days ago on what I thought, you know. And I've had and a couple people have asked me, but it's really not many. But like I said, if it's a lot of resources around here, I think people can reach out to get better.
yeah. And just like Coach, just like with I got coaching. It's crazy, but I got three kids that I coach that's now varsity head coaches. So I look at the day like, well, dang, I got a little. That's something I kind of
Coaching
felt
tree.
good about that, right? A little coaching tree, right? That you didn't even think you had, but coach, even though I coached them and them my guys, you could ask them. I never volunteer anything. Now, if they ask coach, what you think about this, coach, can I see this, and I get feedback. Even with them being your guys, you still they have to, like you say, you want to. It's that fine line where you want to make sure that you being respectful
Hmm.
and stay in a space, even if you see it. And sometimes, coach, you see something and you just be cringing, like, oh my God, like, but you don't want to overstep. So you just have to kind of just sit there, and they may never ask, or they may come back and say something way past time, like it may be in the
Hmm.
summertime, and they bring it up, coach. What would you have done in that situation? At that point, but it's hard sometimes especially when it's a relationship and you see it. It's like a parent, but you got they grown though, so you see it, and no parent wants their child to get hurt if they can help it. But sometimes as a parent, you gotta let them go through it, and that's tough, coach. But it definitely is not an easy thing to do. So, but speaking of the old school, um, tonight you all know we continuing with our preseason previews. I mean, with the coaches, bringing them on, inviting them on, letting them come on and kind of talk about their teams, the season, and just kind of reintroduce themselves. And so we have our guest we offered. He said okay, and this is one of the deans of Polk County coaching, one of the elder statesmen. Gonna stop in and give us a little time. Busy man, the mayor, the unofficial mayor of Auburndale. Appreciate head coach Eric Robinson for coming on tonight. What's going on with your coach E?
Hey, hey, how's it going, guys?
Coach E.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Always a
Coach, are
pleasure.
you the longest tenured coach?
Right alongside McGriff. I think we started the same year.
Came
Same
in the
year?
same year, coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elder statesman, him and McGriff came in together, and at the
Couple
same school, coach.
couple years ago, we were neck and neck on wins and losses. He done pulled away from it a little bit the last couple years.
Yeah, coach, man. That's why I say the elder statesman. I know did an interview with you and him last year, man, about y'all both coming at the same time and how things. And we'll start off with that, Coach. You know how things have changed and how things have remained the same from then to now.
I'm sorry, Coach. Say that one more time.
I said we'll start off with. Well, first of all, we'll start off with just kind of for people that don't know, which I know everybody do, just introduction about yourself and anything you want folks to know before we get started with questions about you and Auburndale basketball.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coach Eric Robinson, Auburndale alum, 1990, way back in the days. This is my 24th. This will be the start of my 24th season as the head boys basketball coach at Auburndale.
Okay. Well, Coach, what you thought about? I don't know if you heard what we was talking about coaching and getting feedback, receiving advice, looking at it from a negative standpoint. What's your take on like how coaches are with far as like influence? Like, do we get to a point as coaches where we just feel like we got it all figured out, nobody can tell us nothing? Like, what's your take on that conversation?
Yeah, well, I'll be the first to say that, I look at some programs and their take on assistant coaches. Every time you think about assistant coaches, you think about Bartow, right? Bartow's got 10, 11 guys over there, and they're all good people, right? Good people, good men, men of character. And I've tried to, I don't want to say emulate, but just try to go about my way of getting help, kind of how Bartow does, just good people. I can't find 10 good dudes like that, right? Guys that want to help, they want to help, but like it's hard to find guys that are willing to put in the time, willing to help you out, and I take the guys that are working with me now. Anything that they have good for me, anything that they want, my assistant coach, Coach Brian, when he bring me something, we get on the same accord, and I'm always willing to take anything that him or any of the guys that are on my staff are willing to give me. So that's kind of how I look at it. I mean, I'm only as successful as the coaches that are beside me.
So, Coach, you are a lifelong, like you said, you're an alumni. You've been coaching basketball. Now you're coaching football. You ran the rec for years. You're all things Auburndale High School.
Yes,
Tell
sir.
us what is so special about Auburndale to the point that you go and you stay. Tell us what makes Auburndale so special.
Yes, sir. Well, I kind of go back to my community center days when I was at the community center. I had a really good job at the time working at State Farm, and when I got that phone call from the city of Auburndale, it was a no-brainer for me because where the community center is at, I grew up in that neighborhood. I lived the same street that the community center is on. I lived on that street. My granny, where I grew up at, in her home as well, like 2-3 streets over, I lived there. So it was a no-brainer, just continuing to be a part of Auburndale and being able to help raise kids that might come through the community center. Seeing the kids that ran the same streets that I ran when I was coming up as a youth. And then just being a coach. When I graduated high school, I jumped right into coaching youth sports with my little brother at 18 years old, and I never looked back. It's been 33 or so years that I've been a part of our youth league programs, and Auburndale would just always be home. I jumped in at coaching with Coach Ty Willis. He was actually the reason I began playing basketball from the beginning, because football was my love. That's what I wanted to do. I coached football and basketball while I was a JV coach. And once I got the head coaching job, Mr. Joe told me, said, "Coach, you're gonna have to give up football." But football has always been my love, Auburndale football. So when Coach Thomas got the job not this year, but last year, and he asked me to kind of come along and be on board, I really didn't want to be like a position guy, just kind of go out and help him out with whatever he needed. Anything I could do to help him to manage his job, to help keep him out of trouble, since I am the old guy in town. I just always wanted to do. So just anything that I could do to help the fellow young guys in Auburndale when coming up on the coaching staff or whatever, I just wanted to help as much as I could. So it's just Auburndale. Auburndale is in my blood. I've said for years I bleed blue and gold, and I live by that.
Coach E, you said this is going to be your 24th year, which is an accomplishment. That's amazing, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
What advice would you give to that first year, Coach E, if you could right now?
Man, oh man. The first year, Coach E, the advice that I would give. Man, I tell you, I had some characters, man. I had some dudes, and I probably needed at that time. I probably needed some veteran help. I needed some veteran leadership. After about 2 or 3 years, maybe about 4 or 5 years, Coach David Saltman, who was the head coach before me, he had come back from coaching college ball, and I asked him to come be on my staff. So he came and coached with me for a couple of years. But I tell you, if it was one thing I could give one advice that I could give myself, it would definitely be when I hired guys to come and be my assistants, just trying to find guys that could really help me in the game. Because like I say, I was a football guy to begin with, and I really could have used some guys with a little bit more knowledge about the game, a little bit more knowledge about just how to manage the game, how to manage players. Because like I said, I had those first few years, I had some talent. But I had some dudes.
Coach, you
Go ahead.
Auburndale blue and gold through and through. Coach Billy D got on the other, as y'all say, the other blue and gold.
Yeah. He's not the real one, but I get it.
So it's well documented, the rivalry with Winter Haven and Auburndale. Like, it don't matter the sport, but what do you think overall? So you all keep that rivalry. Y'all might be the only two people that play home and home and still, like, every year. Like, it's just
Yeah.
non-negotiable. What do you think has happened with the rivalries in Polk County? Because besides, you don't see it like that no more. You don't see it like you used to back in the day. So what do you think? What do you think has happened? Why do you think that's just like a thing of the past? And will it ever come back around?
Well, first off, I like to say when it comes to Auburndale, Winter Haven, you think about the coaching staffs on both sides, right? Like, it's one of those things that as long as I'm the head coach, I'll never let that rivalry die, because I experienced it in football, I experienced it in basketball, playing against those guys. And there, back in the days, I mean, there was real live hate, right? It's not the same today, because hell, you coach a little travel ball, you might have a kid from Winter Haven on your team, on your travel ball team. So it's really not the same. But during the season, like, we really, I hate to say it, we really make a big deal out of that. Like the Auburndale Winter Haven rivalry. It's the same thing with Jamie Phillips over in Winter Haven. Like, Jamie Phillips is a Blue Devil. So I'm sure, Jamie and I are cool, but when that time comes for us to play, I'm sure Jamie got a real good speech for his guys about, playing against Auburndale. So it's the same thing with me. It's just, we both kind of experienced, playing against each other, and now that we're coaching, we're able to talk to those guys about the competition that we experienced when we were coming up as kids. I think the big deal today is, with so many transfers, it was just unheard of for kids at Auburndale to go play at Winter Haven back in the days. It was unheard of for kids from Winter Haven to transfer and go to Auburndale back in the days. It happens today. So I just feel like, because of those, things like that, kids transferring from Kathleen to Lakeland, kids transferring from Bartow to Lake Wales, or from Lake Wales to Bartow, whatever. I just think it just kills a little bit of the rivalries, because it seems that there's no such thing as loyalty these days in high school.
So you spoke about travel ball. Do you think travel ball and the transfer portal has effectively killed the high school rivalry and speak about how do you think. Cause I mean, for people that don't know, coach, it's like you're year round. Like you go from coaching the season to doing travel ball. You're probably the only coach that actively actually coaches his kids like that still from then to now, consistently. Do you think that travel ball has, and we asked this question last week, has travel ball taken over high school basketball?
I would say maybe at a higher level, when it comes to, the teams that have the I guess you call the better players or the star players, the 3, 4, 5 star players. It's the excitement, it seems, can be taken away when it comes to travel ball. We do travel ball for one reason, and that's to try to keep our kids together and make for a better high school season. That's really the only reason why we do travel ball. Last couple of years I partnered up with Coach Jones and his players and my players, and really it's just been, like I say, to continue to build that camaraderie and to prepare our guys for the high school season. So I think maybe when it comes to those bigger shoe brand teams or whatever, it might take away a little bit of the hype from high school. But if as a high school coach that coaches travel ball, I still I don't really get into the whole travel ball hype. We do it for a reason, to keep our kids together and get them better and all that stuff. We're not really doing it for the hype of travel ball.
Coach, last year you dealt with some, like you said, you had some doozies, but last year you dealt with some tragedy that we was able to kind of understand, since we covering how we covering the county now. Talk about how you was able to, like, I mean, because coach, I thought you should have got coach of this just for managing what you did, with how it happened. That's just me, and how important just mental health is. We kind of throw it around, but you had to actually live it last year. Just for people don't know, just how was it, and how are you, and how are the kids? Because all the kids pretty much had to they had to live it too, and then still go out there and play games. So if you now, I know that's a kind of heavy subject, so if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But I just want to give you a chance to speak on it if you want to. So if you want to, fine. If you don't, it's cool.
Well, coach, a lot of it was just support. Dealing with the loss of a kid, and as early as we did in the season, it was our second game of the season. At that time, for myself, when it happened, I was just ready to throw in the towel and call it quits, because for the season, because it was hard on me. It was hard on me, and it was even harder on those kids. Like every time we ran out of locker room, every game at home, and then you get out of the locker room and you're warming up and you look in the stands, and every game you see his parents in the stands, continuing to support the team because they knew that those kids needed it. That was rough. I mean, it was hard on us. But I also think that uh, after that season, we wanted to dedicate that season to Carter, but it was really hard to do that during the season because of all the emotions that we went through and just things that, we were hoping that we could accomplish for him, so really and truthfully, after the season was over, we dedicated our off season to him. The off season work that we put in, and a lot of it was mental. It was, how tough or how hard can we be on you to prepare you for this season, for the things that you say that you want to do for the young man that meant so much to you. And really, I just put it into my trainer's hands, Mr. Leo Etienne. He just really just drove it and really just honed in on our kids' mental and just really pushed them to the limits, because we knew that if we could be pushed to the limit and we could handle what we went through over the summertime, it would make for a better season. Now, mind you, when we played our first regular season game and we got drilled by 40 up at Polk versus University, it kind of I wasn't real sure how the season was gonna go, but we just really stayed on the guys just about the work that they put in and who we were doing it for, and to go from I think 8-16 to a 22-7 season. Probably the only people that believed that we would have that type of season were the guys that was in that locker room. And I just tip my hat to those kids because they really played their butts off, and they listened and did any and everything that we asked them to do last season. So,
well, Coach, you had a great season, which, like I said, coming back from what you came back from, you and those kids. I mean, it was amazing to see, and you was able to kind of parlay that into a pretty successful and active summer. Specifically, highlighted by the fact that you got to travel to Georgia for the Georgia Live period. You got to do both. You got to travel to Florida and to Georgia. Talk about those two experiences and how you feel like that time with you guys and getting those games in help and will continue to help you as you all get ready for the season.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I think that we really spent a lot of time with our guys over I hate to say off season because really no such thing as the off season as much as we stayed busy in June. But we tried to play our guys on every level if we could. Our first weekend we played at Southeastern. Which NAIA, we got a chance to play at Southeastern, and coaches getting a chance to see our guys. That next weekend we played up at UCF in their team camp, and then the FABC, which there's college coaches there that got an opportunity to see our guys, and then to play our summer league and play at Florida Southern at the Division II level, and coaches still being able to see our guys. And then taking that trip to Georgia, it was just an amazing trip for our guys to see coaches all over the building watching games, to get a chance to play Gibbs, who has a couple guys that are on the circuit, and having 15 to 20 coaches on the sideline watching games and being able to see that game and watch us pull that game out against them. It was just a really good time for our kids, and I just feel like our guys had a chance to get closer every weekend that we played, every game that we played. They just had a chance to get closer and to mature. They became, grow. They really grew up a lot over the summertime.
Coach, I watched that Gibbs game, and I watched y'all that whole weekend. I watched you from that first game and to when you played Gibbs, and it's like y'all made a jump from game one. I think y'all played Gibbs like the fourth game, third game, but y'all made a jump within that weekend. And so talk about your kids, just, so folks will know, kind of talk about your squad for a minute, kind of talk about who you got and, what you expected from them before we kind of transition into, what your district and all that stuff looks like.
Okay. Yeah, Coach. You haven't asked about it, but I might as well speak on it. I feel like the transfer of Jordan Gunner transferring to Discovery helped us all out. It helped him to mature because he got a chance to go and play at Discovery and play with some older guys, play with a bunch of seniors that really helped him to mature over last year. And just, I don't want to say he took a step back, but he didn't have to worry about being the man, as he was when he was with Auburndale. So when he transferred, it helped our guys because they got a chance to. Our guys really got a chance to find their own leadership, find their own roles, and instead of just watching Jordan maybe do his thing offensively. So I just think it really helped us all. And now with him coming back to Auburndale, it's given us so many more options, offensively and defensively, and mainly defensively. He's a very talented kid offensively, but if the way we plan to use him defensively, as long as he is He's gonna help us in all facets of the game. And then you think about the kid Jaden Lindsay, who tore his ACL in ninth grade, so he didn't play none his sophomore year. So we didn't have him because he was out with the ACL injury. And with him coming back last year and really getting a chance to expand his game, and the time and that he's put in the gym has just taken his game to another level. And Aiden Curry and Derek Ramirez just continuing to get better every night, every time we walk in the gym. I mean, those guys have just worked so hard. Deshaun Johnson, all of our guys have just really, there's never a time that I can say that we've had practice or whatever, because I always tell my guys, if I got to be here, you got to be here. So there's never going to be a time that you show up and you say, Coach E's not here at practice. Like sometimes you might do yourself, well, you don't show up. So every time we got in the gym, we got a chance to get better together. There was never a time that there were guys that were out, guys that were missing. And I think after last year and the success that we had, it's just really pushed these kids to want to have a better season than we had last year, and set new goals. I mean, we set goals last year, but the goals that we've set for this season are definitely different than the goals that we set for last year.
Okay. Well, you like you say, I hadn't brought it up out of respect. So, but speaking about it, obviously getting a kid of that caliber to go with what you already got back, that raises the level of talent and expectations. So in your region, well, I guess we can start district and region. Talk about your initial thoughts on you, because we talked about it, a couple times as far as the district before you got, Jordan, that we felt pretty good about you guys in your district, and on paper felt real good about you in your region. So as much as you're willing to, because we know at this time it's all about, cloak and dagger. So as much as you're willing to speak on, what's your take on your district and your region?
Well, after listening to Coach Junior and Coach Kenny last week, I mean, they kind of scared me up a little bit because, I don't know, Junior, he got about 12 different travel ball teams, and I don't know who might be on his team when we go over there when they come to us to play. So, we'll be prepared. We'll be ready all year long. We're not out here taking anybody for granted. I've never done that. I know these guys are, our guys might be considered the top dog in the district or whatever, but like we know that every night we're gonna have to come out and play. So, that's our take on this year. We want to go out and put our best product on the court, and just leave it all on the court. I think that was one of our main things last year. If anybody came into Auburndale, or if we had to walk into somebody else's gym, they knew we were going to play hard. So we don't want to lose that focus on, you're a year older, you're stronger, you're faster, but we still want to play just as hard, if not as harder than what we played last year. So, we know the district is going to be a battle, like Coach Kenny spoke on last week. The Kathleen team we played in the district time was way different than the Kathleen team that we played in the regular season. District time is different. It's everybody's 0-0, so anybody could win, anybody could lose. So that's kind of how we look at it. We're not just walking out on the court thinking because we beat somebody by 30 that's going to happen during the district time. And even in the region, last year we played Gateway in the first round of the playoffs, and those kids just laid it all on the line. And at that point you got seniors that don't want to go home, seniors that don't want it to be their last game. So we're looking forward to it, and we know that our region is going to be tough. We'll probably see LeCanto again, and then Leesburg down the road somewhere. So I applaud Coach Billy for setting us up with that game next week. I really didn't want to play it, but we're gonna we're gonna go out there and lay it on the line and see what we got. So
Coach, how do you look at when you're setting your schedule now, strength of schedule, and how important is it for you to get that, I guess, 1 seed? So you want Leesburg or whoever coming potentially looking down the road to Auburndale as opposed to having to go to the Lake. You want them coming to Polk County as opposed to having to go to Lake County. So how do you feel like you've done enough with your schedule, and how important with this squad? You got a senior-laden squad, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got a lot of seniors. I love your point guard, Sneed. I know he's not a senior, but you're going to be senior heavy. So they're battle tested. You had them all, you had them pretty much all their life. Do you think, does it matter where that potential like regional final? Does it matter if you feel like your guys can go in another gym and get a game, or you like, man, we got to get this one seed and we want them coming here to us? What's your take on that, and how you feel like do you feel like your schedule will allow for that to happen?
yeah, Coach. That's that every year. That's the goal to get that one seed in our region if we can. That's our goal every year. And last year, Coach, we can think back to one game that we played during our season that we lost, that we feel if we would have won, we would have at least gotten a second seed, and we wouldn't have had to go to Lecanto. Like we talked about that all year long. Once we lost that game up at Ocoee in one of their shootouts, overtime game, we missed a bunny that would have won the game for us. We knew right then that game was going to be the one that hurt us, and the rankings and the strength of schedule was so close that it sent us to Lecanto instead of them having to come to us. And so it's always a big deal to fight for that one seed, and this year we've tried to pad our schedule so we can go out, play some tough competition. Every year we go to Fleming Island, we play, it's 8 teams that are in our division or in our bracket, that all 8 teams that are in that tournament are playoff teams. Every year it's been like that. So we enjoy going to Fleming Island for that reason. This year we was able to hook up with an event, a tournament up in Leesburg County up in Georgia that Bartow has played in a few times. So we're hoping to get up there and play some tough competition to prepare us once again for our games when we get back home. We always try to play the toughest teams or the tougher teams in Polk County. And so, and then play those weekend events, those shootouts that we know we're going to get a chance to face playoff caliber teams. So, yeah, we're Coach, we always try to get that schedule. It's not about, trying to be 30-1 or 25-0 or whatever. It's not about that. It's about trying to go out and play tough competition. If we could play tough competition, go 25-0, I'm all for it.
Okay. Well, Coach, Mr. Frank has been singing your praises for the last couple of weeks. So Frank has already said y'all are the #1 team in Polk County, and he's already said y'all the next state champion. So I'm just asking, Coach. He been swinging, Coach. He been standing on business about it now for the last couple of weeks. You've been in it for 24 years. Does a statement like that, does that P word creep in? Is that pressure, Coach? Or I'm just, like I say, so you know how the streets is, and Frank feel real good about y'all, Coach. He felt real good about y'all before you got Jordan. He really like y'all just lining up against anybody. So
man, I need to meet Frank. And then secondly, Frank, when you post about Auburndale, is ADALE, my boy. I'm just messing with Frank, but I don't know. I don't know who Frank is, but I read his comments and Coach, we know the expectations are high, and we're not running from the smoke. So we're gonna, like I say, we're gonna work hard for it this year. We've had some teams, Coach. I mean, I'll be the first to say we've had some teams that I feel has fallen short. Like you say, we have a senior laden team that if these guys will grow and mature together, I think we got a chance to be as good as anybody in our class. So, like I say, we're not going to run from it. We're going to really put it out there. We're going to really work hard for it. And I talk to my guys all the time about the banners that are not up in our gym. You can have a banner that's got district champions all day long, but there's one that hadn't been up there in a long, long time, Coach, and it's So we're definitely going to put our best foot forward and work hard for to get to that last game. So like I say, if we can put it all together and just continue to work hard for it, we're not going to run from it.
So the secret sauce, I know you can't really give it because, like you say, y'all are watching it now at this point. But if you can tell one ingredient, not the whole recipe, but one ingredient for the secret sauce, and this is a coach, Billy D. That's why he leaned up because this involving coaching. So he probably would have to fall out of his chair to hear the answer to this one. But one ingredient of your secret sauce that you think goes into getting to the White House.
Hold on, Cole. Let me get my pen and paper now.
No, I need for Billy to give me his secret sauce because I ain't never been there.
Okay, and then Billy, well, maybe Coach, maybe you give one of your keys, one of your ingredients to the secret sauce, and it can be an iron sharpen iron real quick. And I'll mute since I'm not in this number.
Because defense still win championships. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's been a staple of Polk County. That's been the staple of every Polk County championship team has been defensively. And I think that's going to be the difference maker for Coach E this year is him getting stops on the defense end because he has talent. He got people that can put the ball in the hole. He's got a bunch of guys that can put the ball in the hole, but it's just going to be the difference defensively for him. And I think he's on the right track. I see him doing some things that's going to make people uncomfortable this year.
Yeah, Coach. It's funny you mentioned that because last year when we went up to Lecanto, I told our guys, if we can keep these guys under 50 points, we can win the game. We just happen to have the worst shooting night that we've had all year long. They scored 48 points and we only scored 43. But I really just felt like if we could keep them under 50, we could win. I mean, I say that over and over and over again because I mean they could really fill it up. I mean, and we probably played one of our best defensive games versus a really good team last year when we played Lecanto. So no, we are definitely pushing the issue when it comes to defense this year. We love our man-to-man defense, but we're trying some different things. We've tried some different things over the off season, and I'm right there with you. I just feel like if we can mix it up, we can turn people over. And I also feel like I've always felt like guard play wins ball games. You don't have to be the biggest team in the world to go out and win state championships. Bart told back in when they had Josh with the long arms. They didn't have no 6'9", 6'8", 6'9" guys, but they had some really good guard play with Jordan Lowry and I think that was when Walt. I don't know if that was when Walt played as well. They had some guys that made the other team, the other guy handling the ball, made him feel uncomfortable. So we have really good guard play. So we're gonna lean on that. We're gonna lean on our defense, and we're gonna make that. Defensively, we're going to make that a staple of Auburndale basketball this year.
Are the kids excited? Are the kids confident? What's the mindset and the energy of the kids with getting ready for the season?
Yeah, Coach. Once again, like I said, there hadn't been many times where guys didn't show up. When we've had stuff, when we've been doing stuff, and with that, I feel like. And because we constantly talk about it, what is it that you want to do? What type of memories do you want to make? This is it for a lot of you guys. It's your senior year. Like, what type of memories do you want to make? We don't want to say you were just able to win a bunch of games. Like, you want to be able to say that you were able to raise a banner in this gym. Like, so, and it's something we talk about daily. It's something we talk about constantly. So that's kind of how we look at it. Just, and then just constantly wrapping our arms around these guys. Every kid doesn't have a mom or dad that they can go to and get a good word from. So we constantly try to wrap our arms around our guys and love on them and let them know that we love them, even when we're hard on. Just constantly letting them know that we care about them. And more than just basketball. You know, we want to see them graduate with high honors or graduate the best that they can possibly be, and not settle for anything less.
Coach, how has it been? And we can let you get out of here after this and got this question, then you can close out. How has it been getting on campus? Because for a while, like you say, you was at the rec, you at the community center, but a couple of years ago, you decided to, come get a teacher and get on campus. How important and how has that been being on campus to be there like day in, first period, second period, not just coming from State Farm or coming from from the rec? How has that been being actively day to day on campus? How important is that?
Yeah, coach, they can't job me no more. I mean, but before I could get a, oh yeah, I'm straight, coach. Or, yeah, it's everything good, coach. They can't job me no more, coach. I mean, I can walk out of the gym anytime I need to go peek in a classroom if I have to. Just standing out front, in between classes and being able to see those guys. Our motto this year, or something that we plan to do, we do all year long, is if you see each other while you walking in the hall, you better dap it up. You better give them a hug, something, because I just constantly feel like the closer we get, the better we're gonna be. The better we're gonna be. Not just on the court, just every time you see each other. Just so I'm watching all that stuff, man. Just being on campus has been great. It's been amazing for me, and just continue to build that camaraderie with my guys. And all of my kids are in my 7th period class, so we spent a ton of time together. And I have kids that played for me years ago. When they see some of the work that we put in over the summertime, because I don't have work, I've had kids that's played for me tell me that they wish they would have had the opportunity to do that type of stuff. So I'm enjoying it, and I know it's just gonna get better. And I enjoy being on campus and being able to see my guys every day.
Good. All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate you giving us some of your time, man. You dropped a lot of gems for folks. We're gonna give you a chance to finish up saying however you want to talk. I know that if you all want to come check out Auburndale, they will be in action this Saturday. They agreed, which we're so thankful. Appreciate you, Coach, for coming to participate in the first Polk Hoop shootout. Gonna be some good action at Santa Fe all day, and Coach E got 2 good games. He'll get some good work for you guys on Saturday. But just talk about any anything in closing you want folks to know that you ain't said or spoke about yet.
I just like for everybody out there in radio land, Facebook land, to continue to pray for all our young men, pray for their success, continue to help them as much as possible, especially mentally, because all of our kids are going through things we might have no idea about, because not one kid is the same. Somebody might have a bed to go lay down in and another might not. So I just ask that everybody out there to just continue to pray for our young folks, continue to help them as much as possible. And I thank you guys for Polk Hoops. I thank you guys for all that you are doing for our kids. I mean, it's amazing. I know it might look like just a Facebook page or a show to some folks, but it's way bigger than that, and it's way bigger than basketball. So I thank you guys, and I applaud you guys for all that you're doing for us.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate that, Coach. Well, Coach, we appreciate you, man, as always, man. And we'll see you. We'll see you Saturday. We'll see you in a couple of days. Excited to see your kids, and always good to see you on the sideline and just pouring into your kids and to your guys. So, good luck to you on the field. I don't know what y'all got Friday night, but good luck. I know you're doing double duty right now, so that's
Billy
tough.
D, we got late wheels on Friday at the house.
I kind of did know that. So go ahead. So that was a lob. So all right. So we'll put it on real quick. Lake Wells football, Auburndale football. Y'all both alumni from the football standpoint. What's
Coach,
the take?
you already know.
Okay.
you already know. Like, come on, Coach.
That's a
dang, boy.
game,
Somebody sound real confident over there, boy. Yeah. I like Auburndale 24-20, Coach.
Oh wow.
That's district game, right?
Yes, it is. District game.
That's game of the week. right?
Yeah.
So okay. So coach,
I like putting lunch on that, coach. We can bet lunch on that, coach.
We'll talk about it. We'll
Yes,
talk about it.
there
We'll
it
talk about it. We'll talk about it Saturday after the game.
so good luck to you on the field,
Look,
man. So
see,
you got
coach,
some good
man.
work. You got a big game Friday, then you got 2 big ones on Saturday. So it's a good weekend for you.
Yes,
Good.
sir. Yes, sir. Old man got to get to bed early tomorrow on Friday night. So,
On
Yeah.
Friday night, yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you, Coach, man.
all
And
right, coach.
yeah,
Y'all
man.
take
Yes, sir.
take
Good luck.
take care now.
All
Thank you,
right,
Coach.
All right.
All right.
Barnes, Auburndale for one game. I think they can pretty much beat anybody. I think the challenge Coach E is gonna have is getting them to play at that level consistently, game in and game out. And he knows that the kids just gotta buy into it because I've seen them over the summer, and he's telling them the right things, but sometimes they just want to do it their way. And I think if they just totally buy into what he's selling to them, but they can accomplish whatever they set their goals out to be.
Yeah, it's getting the Gunner kid. They was in good shape, I thought, without him and getting that kid,
Mhm.
especially like you said from a defensive perspective, because he's so long and active. It can affect the like it changes things, right? It
Yeah,
changes things a lot. So you gotta like it, but y'all make sure y'all and coach, I'll let you kind of talk about that as we get ready to sign off. About what Saturday we just last push for this weekend. So go ahead and kind of talk about it the day again, coach.
definitely. My first coaching clinic. We're very excited about the people that we got coming in and speaking, and we are thankful and gracious enough that they are donating their time in order to pour into our coaches here in Polk County. Remember, it is now free. You do not have to sign up. Just show up on Saturday at Santa Fe Catholic High School at 7:30. We'll try to begin as close to 8 as possible. Um, I put out who's going first at what time today, so you can look at that. I'm actually going first, followed by Coach Donnelly, Coach Jesse, and then we're going to finish it up with national champion in the University of Tampa men's coach, Coach Donner. I like the lineup, Coach. I think it's going to be some jewels drop. And like I said, Coach Austin told me a long time ago, if you can come away with one thing to make your team better, you're winning. And I think you're going to be able to come out with something um, from our first annual coaching clinic. And, we'll get out a survey and figure out what we need to do to continue to improve it for the years becoming. And I'm really excited about the shootout, Coach. I'm really, really excited. We got some great competition. I know Coach E didn't want to play it, but I think it'll give him a gauge on what he needs to do, for the season. Um, we got Gibbs and Santa Fe, both of them state runner up from a year ago. That's what's starting us off. Um, then, like I said, we got Leesburg and Auburndale. Then the Villages and Victory. I'm very curious about that game. I'm really interested on how the pieces that Victory got. Some of them coming back from injury. They got a new piece in from the kid from Canada, kid from Tampa, just to see them play against great competition. And like you say, Auburndale also play against the Villages, and Santa Fe plays against Leesburg. So we're gonna have great competition, all day. Coach Blicker gonna have college football up on the screen, so you're not gonna be able to miss, the featured game at the time. Like I said, it's gonna be great knowledge being spilled out everywhere. Then we're gonna have great basketball, after that. Um, like I said, the coaching clinic is free. We only charging $5 for the games afterwards, and Coach, I'm excited about it. I really am.
Yeah. I mean, I am too. I'm excited to see how the coaches kind of spread their knowledge, and once again, hopefully, folks will receive it And then, anytime we can have the kids playing, that's always a win for us. And then to give them at this point in the season, these people want, if you think you're going to be pretty good, you want to be playing other people that think they're going to be pretty good. That's the only way that you really improve. And so the fact that we were able to get Santa Fe, Victory, and Auburndale high level competition, and that and our first time out doing it, I like you say, I'm just excited. It's already a win for me. That we're doing it. We're continuing to try to do what we said we were going to do, which is to, shine a spotlight on Polk County basketball and help kids and help programs. So we have not wavered from what we said we were going to do.
We got to start somewhere, Coach. It's got to start somewhere, and we'll just build it from there. But like I said, we're doing our part to help improve basketball here in the county. And people have said some things about what we're doing, to help these kids and help these coaches. Well, it's proof is in the pudding. You see things from us trying to help everybody. It's not only boys coaches, boys and girls coaches can come out. Little league coaches can come out. We welcome all coaches from across the state. If you want to come and be a part of our clinic, please come out and receive this knowledge.
All right. Well, that's all we got for tonight, man. Once again, thoughts and prayers to the All-State PGA and the family. We're praying for your boss. And if you all in the praying type, make sure y'all send one up too. And Coach E, as always, one of the deans of coaches, always comes through, always been supportive, just good people, just good family. And, just a good guy, just Mr. Auburndale, all things Auburndale. Yeah, right. He was on here cutting up, but Coach E done been through it, and we hope and praying, man. Coach E done, like admittedly he's had some squads that have come up short. So we for everybody, but you kind of you root a little bit more for. I know I do, and I have to stay objective. But it's something that you just kind of you root a little more for just because of all they've been through and what they have done. Not saying other guys haven't, but just for the level. Being one school for 24 years, Coach, that's unheard of.
Amazing, Coach.
So him and McGrill. So once again, shout out to Coach Robinson, Coach E for stopping through, and we'll send out the invite for next week. We already got one that say he'll be on. And then we'll look for one more. Man, we try to do 2 because we got like 30 coaches, and we want to give everybody a chance to get on. Whether they accept it or not, we want to at least offer. And so, but once again, man, we appreciate y'all, man. Y'all enjoy your Labor Day. If you are a college football fan, you got a game on right now, Notre Dame in Miami. So y'all check that out and just enjoy yourself, enjoy your family. Y'all be safe, man. And until next time, Polk Hoops, we out. Hopefully we'll see y'all Saturday at the clinic and the shootout, man. Y'all have a good week, and we'll talk to you.